Heyo, welcome back to GoGoJuice. My name is Josiah.
My name is Jairus.
And in today's episode, we will be discussing overcoming fear and failure. Let's get into it. All right, Jairus.
Let's start with you.
All right.
Let's start with you.
Okay, we can go.
Past 3 episodes.
Yes. All right.
So Jairus. So Josiah.
Yes.
How do you overcome fear?
I don't. I'm constantly afraid of everything.
I curl up in a ball and I cry.
I cry every night. I'm scared right now. I'm kidding. How do I deal with fear?
Yes. Pretty much know your answer.
What?
Take to God.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You take it to God.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, seriously. The Bible says that the Lord has not given us a spirit of fear. And so when stuff like that comes up, fear, I know it's not from God. So immediately I pray against it, pray against that spirit of fear. So that's kind of how I deal with it. That's like a really, really simplified version.
Yeah. All right, that's the end of the episode. Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Be afraid. I'm constantly watching. Every second that you're not running, I'm only getting closer and closer. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Imagine they just wake up and I'm sitting in their room. You need to be motivated and inspired.
Welcome back to
GoGoJuice. They just wake up. Welcome back to GoGoJuice. Smile bright.
I'm in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just hear that coming up there down the hallway in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back. Man. Okay. Let's get serious.
Yeah.
So, dealing with fear. I mean, given the circumstances of life after COVID, during COVID, stuff like that, fear was very prevalent, especially last year, being scared of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen with all the protests and everything, and then COVID, the lockdowns, quarantines, our government, presidency, all of that. Like 2020 was an insane year full of like just fear, man. Like the whole world was afraid because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Honestly, we didn't know where things would lead to, how much freedom we'd have.
Would you say to yourself, like, were you scared?
Oh yeah, there were certain points where I was scared, but I wouldn't react in a manner that you would expect someone to be like afraid, like, oh my god, like I'm stressing, I'm freaking out, like I'm panicking. It was more so I was just angry. I think that's how I reacted to fear at the time. I was just angry. I was like, dude, this is stupid. Why are we still doing this?
With me, I see what you mean by that.
Yeah, I was very impatient. Yeah, that's what it was. I wasn't
impatient. Scared like at all, to be honest, because like I knew that nothing really was gonna happen bad to my family, at least. And it wasn't too much like with things that were happening in the world, like the riots and everything. It wasn't like, it didn't scare me because, again, I knew I was protected. Like, there wasn't fear, but there was me being impatient and wanting things to go back to normal. Yeah, definitely. But then the realization that this is the new normal. Yeah,
exactly, the new normal. I think it was just adjusting, really. The biggest thing about fear is sometimes fear can become very irrational.
Yeah. And
fear can turn into something that it has nothing to do with the state of the situation. It's just now you're worrying about everything. And then it becomes anxiety. And I think that's where the problem is when we don't address fear, it then turns into even deeper problems, or it can resurface underlying problems that we kind of shoved under the rug and kind of didn't want to deal with. And so it lets everything out at once. And this is why we talked about self-care last episode.
Yeah.
Because it's important to let these kind of things what the heck, bro? To kind of oh my gosh, I'm trying to be serious, bro. What are you,
bro? Like every time you talk about something serious, somehow.
Yeah, seriously. You guys can't see it, but his pants turned into shorts, and he unzipped the bottom half of his pants and turned them into
it's
shorts.
Hot in your room, bro.
It really is.
Alright, back to what you're saying.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm afraid of is the heat.
The heat?
No. Honestly, there's not a lot that I'm afraid of that's like irrational. Like I don't have like phobias or anything like that. But there's just a lot of things that kind of make you that you're uncertain about. I wouldn't necessarily call it fear, but more just uncertainties. And there's plenty of those, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think dealing with uncertainties is just understanding that what you're capable of beyond just the situation. Like things can and will be out of your control, more often than not. And sometimes it's scary because you don't know how things are going to turn out. You don't know what the end result is going to be. But at the end of the day, if you understand what you're capable of and you know that you can handle certain situations, or even if you can't handle it, but you understand that you can, get yourself to be able to overcome these things, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? It's all about just addressing it and not pushing it under the rug, because then everything's going to collapse on you.
I think that's why I didn't fear like what was going on in the world.
Yeah.
Well, one, I had too much going on.
Yeah.
Like, myself. So it was like, that was kind of something else to something else to worry about. But just knowing that, like, now that I'm good, like, I know I can handle things. And there was like, the fear just kind of went away. And there really wasn't fear from the beginning. Like, even from the start of like COVID, I was like, bro,
the start of COVID was like, oh, we got a 2-week vacation, and then it turned into,
it wasn't even,
we're not coming back to school.
And then, like, I say, like, for like a month, maybe, like, when everything was shut down, and then I was like, oh, it was pretty serious.
Yeah.
But to me, I was just like, okay, I'm home though.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
I gotta be on the Xbox all day, man.
Yeah, man. I think it was different for everyone. Obviously, being in high school at our age, it's like, well, we don't have a whole lot of responsibility. But like for the people that had a lot of responsibility, definitely scary. Scary times. But again, it's just understanding, okay, but I got me. Like, I have a solid foundation, and for a lot of people, specifically myself, I turned to God. That was my biggest thing, because if I didn't, then I was screwed. I lost my grandma last year, so that was huge, and that was tough, man. And those of you that don't know my grandma or don't even know me, if you're just tuning into this because you stumbled upon it, who is this guy? Anyways, my grandma was a very big role model for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people. We were joking about it, the family. We were saying if we held like a memorial service for her and invited all the people she impacted, you need like a football stadium's worth of chairs. It's insane, the things that my grandma did for other people. Very, very strong lifestyle of servant leadership. And so losing her was a very big blow to a lot of people, and it hurt a lot. And so it's adjusting from that kind of thing,
It's your grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, I never expected my grandma to die. I always tell my grandma, because my grandma,
you thought she was gonna be
the I
oldest,
thought I thought my grandma and I were gonna get raptured into heaven together. I didn't think she was ever gonna pass, and she would always say stuff like that, like, hey, if the Lord wants to take me, then I'm ready to go. I'm like, grandma, you're not.
But she knew.
Yeah, so it's just adjustments, Dealing with fear is a lot of adjusting, and you have to learn to be adaptable, But not only that, you can't just avoid fear, You
have to face it.
You have to face it, and overcome it. And the more fear that you overcome, the stronger of a person you'll be.
It builds you as a character.
Absolutely. In the health coaching business, there's a quote that we always use. And it's sometimes you just got to kick fear in the face.
Oh, I thought it was going to be, you better be scared right now.
You better be scared right now. No. Kick fear in the face, and as like violent as that sounds, sometimes that's just how you have to be with it. That's how you have to address it, Not necessarily in anger, but just coming from a place of, I'm not going to let this take me down. I'm not going to let this bother me. You know what I'm saying? Kick fear in the face, And sometimes that takes visualization in your head, However you overcome fear, overcome it, but don't avoid it, because then it just grows. It lingers, and then next thing you know, you're trying to go to sleep, and now you're suffering, and you can't sleep because you're worried about things that, you'd never dealt with or didn't.
Curl up in a ball crying like Josiah.
Yeah, exactly. Curl up in a ball crying like me. I don't actually do that.
He doesn't.
No, I lay straight and cry.
You guys know of.
I lay down straight and cry. I don't curl up in a ball.
He's like planking on his bed.
Yeah.
Just face down. Crying.
Just push up position. Just I'm scared. I'm sorry, guys. We're trying to be serious,
this
but
is like how our conversations go.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
That's why we wanted to do this podcast, because we do stupid stuff.
This is another thing. The podcast. There's a lot of uncertainties going into something like this.
Man, like even just me making that compilation of my voice crack.
Yeah, dude.
But I overcame that fear.
Yeah.
And I was like, man,
it is what it is. It's funny.
It's funny.
It gets views. It's entertainment. It if it helps others and it benefits their day, then by all means, it's not self-deprecating or anything like that. So it's all right. But yeah, something like this. It's a new venture. It's a lot of uncertainties making a podcast. I mean, we had no idea what we were doing coming into this.
We spent like
$200
for
the equipment. Yeah.
maybe just 6 hours just sitting here like on this computer.
Yeah, we were sitting here at my
stuff out.
desk, just
Yeah.
taking notes, watching YouTube videos, putting in some research.
Spend the night twice. Just doing
Yeah,
this.
just trying to figure out, how we're gonna do this.
Hey, worked out though.
It's working out, man.
It's working out, man.
I mean, honestly, and it's so cool. And that's another thing. We say this all the time, but you really never know unless you try. A lot of people, they avoid certain things that they would like to do or would want to do because simply they're afraid that they won't be able to do it, or they won't be able to do it in a manner that they consider successful.
You'll never know until
You'll never know until you try, man. Honestly.
It's like the oldest saying, man.
Yeah, it's such a cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah.
You will never know what you're capable of unless you put yourself in a situation where you have to prove your capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, you may be only capable of a certain thing or a certain amount going into this, new venture or new challenge. But once you come out of that, it'll improve upon your capabilities. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. You're always in a state of growth. You should always be growing. Complacency is the opposite of consistency. Well, you can be consistently complacent, but what you want is consistent growth. You know what I'm saying? Because as we can clearly see, the world is constantly changing. Situations and circumstances are never the same. The only thing that's the same is God. The word says he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. That's the only constant in life. The only thing that will always be forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So life itself, even you as a person, as a character, you will never be the same.
You change almost every day.
Exactly. So don't allow yourself to be complacent. Don't get comfortable. I'm not saying, go make yourself extremely uncomfortable to where you don't enjoy life or you can't do anything because you're in that state of fear or anxiety.
It's common sense.
Yeah, but put yourself in a position where you're growing, you're learning. There's so much more knowledge in the world to be had. I mean, I don't know everything. I probably never will know everything.
Nobody will.
Exactly, nobody will. The only person that does is God, and we won't know until we get to heaven, when we're made perfect. So as of now, we always have to be growing and putting ourselves in a position where we can grow and overcome challenges and overcome those fears and kick them in the face, just like a nice roundhouse kick to the face, just bam, 360 no scope. Yeah.
Up to the higher level of talent.
Side thrust to the forehead. You know what I'm saying? Just right there. Just fear. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of this. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh man. I think we could probably fix that.
No, why? Just I'll put a meme in there.
Just put a warning.
No.
No.
I'm gonna surprise y'all. Y'all going
surprise. You won't know until you watch it, so
you gonna have to fear that.
Fear the unknown. No, don't be afraid. Honestly, even if you don't know what's gonna go on, right now there's a few situations in my personal life. I won't go into details, but I don't know what's gonna happen. But I do know that God's got me and my family. And
flow with it,
Yeah, exactly. Just it's all about trust, man. And if you don't got nobody to trust in your abilities. And if you can't trust in your abilities, man, put your trust in God. And if you don't know God, hey, man, it's never too late to find out who he is.
Never.
The Bible's always there, The word is always the same. So, take those opportunities, figure out, what your foundation is and who your rock is. Because I think the biggest thing for me in overcoming fear and, beating it down, kicking it in the face, just is knowing that God's got me, and that he's a God of intention and he does all things well. So nothing ever comes without plan or purpose. That doesn't mean everything is predetermined, but he knows every outcome, and it's up to us to make the decisions, and then those will lead to those outcomes. But at the end of the day, God has me in the palm of his hand. His word says he will never leave you or forsake you. He wouldn't do things to simply just screw you over. There's always a purpose to everything, and the purpose is always to lead you back to him. But in our humanity, we stray away and things like that. And I'll get into that in a different day. But what I'm saying is, for me personally, that's why I'm able to overcome these kind of fears and things like that. Because I know, where my trust is. Yeah. Exactly. I believe in the report of the Lord, And his report says we are victorious. We have been healed. We have been set free. Things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you have like prime examples of him
exactly
being there with you.
Exactly.
You were
Yeah.
down
Even
low
in the loss of my grandma, there was so much peace. Surprisingly.
And I'm pretty sure it brought people together too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That whole month that she was in the hospital, the whole family was at her house, like almost every day.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? And we were there probably 3-4 times a week, you know, just all together. We prayed together. We, you know, broke bread together. Things we hadn't done in a really long time. You know what I'm saying? And so it did bring people together. But there, at the end of it all, there was still peace, because you know what? I knew where my grandma's going, you know, and I knew that her suffering had ended, you know, and so
she was over it.
And so, I mean, she got her reward, you know, and she's up there dancing in heaven, you know. So there's a lot of peace in knowing that, you know, and, you know, unfortunately for a lot of people, they don't have that kind of peace, you know. They don't have that idea or even just the knowledge of knowing that God's got you, man, you know. And so for a lot of people, it's hard for them, you know. But in my own experience, I know who I am. I know who I serve. I know who my creator is, you know. So that's kind of where I put my trust in. And I think that's why, for me personally, fear is not something that I deal with a lot, because I know that it's not from God. And so just get rid of it. But yeah, so that's how I deal with fear, you know, or the idea of uncertainties. But how about you? Well, because you said it's not really fear. But like fear. In situations where you really don't know what the outcome is going to be, how do you deal with that? You know.
Well, again, like I know what I'm capable of, right? And I know that I'm protected, and I know I have guardian angels around me. So I really just like feed off of that, feed off of that positivity, and then that just overcomes all the fear that I have in general. So essentially, I just kind of brush it off. Like it's there, but I know that I'm gonna overcome that.
Definitely. So it's just like perspective then. It's your outlook, right? You don't dwell on it. You don't allow it to overcome you. You kind of just
and it like it ties into what we said in our last episode about how we think is gonna
your thoughts dictate your actions.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how I mainly overcome my fears.
It's just changing your thought process.
Pretty much. For
sure. Definitely. It makes sense. If you didn't get a chance to listen into last week's episode, go ahead and check that out. It's after, I believe, the 50-minute mark is when we start talking about self-care. And basically what we said was my bishop at my church, one of his biggest things was stress management. And so he brought up a point that our thoughts dictate our actions, but we dictate our thoughts. Meaning, yes, there will be times where you will have fear and there will be uncertainties, but
it's going to happen.
Exactly. But you shape your perception of how you receive that. And that in turn causes your actions to be a certain way. Meaning, if all you do is dwell on fear, dwell on negativity, all you do is worry, and allow yourself to be anxious, then that's all that's ever going to be to you. Then you're going to suffer from panic attacks, insomnia, things like that, stress, you know, disorders and things like that. But if you take that and you say, all right, no, I don't know what's going to happen. I have absolutely no control of the situation, but I'm going to go with the flow.
Run with it.
And I'm going to, you know, and I know I'm going to be okay through the end of it all. I'm not going to allow this to overcome me. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on this. I'm going to keep doing business as usual, and I'm just going to do my best to work things out. And if it doesn't result in the way that I want it to, oh well, it's life. It happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say in every situation just be like, it is what it is, you know, because not everything has to be, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But don't allow yourself to be overcome and overtaken by those fears or those uncertainties or even self-doubt and things like that. You know, you shape your thought process. You control your thoughts, you know, even the ones that linger there and stick in your head, you know, you can force those things out and you can overcome fear, you know. The best way I've found out to do it in my experience, again, is prayer, coming to God, reading the word, you know, fasting, things like that, going to church, listening to gospel music. You know what I'm saying? That's just my own personal experience. That's how I deal with fear and stress. And when, you know, I get bombarded with, you know, thoughts that aren't my own or things that are trying to enter into my head that, you know, aren't of God, that's what I turn to, you know, and more often than not, it works 9 times out of 10. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and that's not to tell you guys you have to do that, but it's an opportunity. It's an option, you know. But again, what we choose to consume is what we then will output. Does that make sense? We get what we get, you know, or sorry.
You get what you get, don't fit.
You get what you get, no. We produce what we input into ourselves. What we allow to enter into our head, into our bodies, into our minds. That's what's going to come out of us. you know. So if all you're doing is dwelling and consuming negativity and anger and hatred and all that, then that's all you're ever gonna be, is an angry hater.
Just fight through it, man.
Yeah.
There's that guy that I told you about, Justin Owens. He was telling this story about this father and son. They were driving on this road, right? And they get into this storm.
Yeah.
It's like it's pouring, and you know they're driving through it, and it gets to the point where you can't even see through it.
Oh man.
And so you know the cars behind him, they're pulling over and everything. But his dad tells him to keep driving, and his son's like, why do you want me to keep driving? Like,
yeah, it's dangerous.
And he's like, no, just keep driving. Trust. So he keeps driving, and eventually the storm dies down, right? And the message that he told his son was that from you pushing through that storm, you know, you got through it. It's over now, right?
Yeah.
But those people who stayed in it, they're gonna have to be in there for a minute. So if you keep pushing through, you're gonna get over it. Like you're gonna pass that point where that bad point, and once you get out of it, it's gonna be clear skies. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah. Basically, the people that sat there in the storm dealt with it a lot longer because they just sat there in it.
So that ties into you having those negative thoughts.
Yeah.
You keep feeding yourself with those negative thoughts, you're gonna just sit in it. It's
gonna feel worse.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel worse.
And it's gonna take you a while for you to pass through that storm.
Yeah.
Because you're just sitting there. But if you keep pushing forward, eventually you're gonna get through that storm.
Persevere, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Facts.
That's good stuff. You said that's Justin Owens?
Yes.
That's what's up, man. That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, man, again, I mean, that's a great point to bring up, you know? If we just allow ourselves to sit in it and just be surrounded by it, then that's all it'll ever be, is just this big storm that we can't overcome. But if you push through and push past the limits and the boundaries, you'll eventually make it out of that.
And have that trust.
You'll be stronger. Yeah. I'm sure in this story, that kid that drove through a storm can go around and be like, the next time he drives and something crazy happens, he's like, don't worry about it, dude. I drove through a storm where we couldn't see, bro. Like, I'm good, bro. We good. Exactly. And it gives you that confidence. It gives you that knowledge of, again, I'm capable of overcoming. I can do this, you know, and I will, you know, regardless of the circumstance and the situation. I'm going to keep doing me because I know what I can do, you know, and when my strength fails, God's strength is made perfect. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. But that's basically how kind of we deal with fear and uncertainty, you know, and hopefully that inspires some of you guys to, you know, overcome that kind of stuff, or even just start the process. You know, everyone starts somewhere. You don't have to be, you know, you're not expected to just be able to overcome every obstacle in your life from day one, you know, but allow yourself the opportunity to figure out what you can and can't do, you know, and don't just assume that you're not capable, you know, because you've never done it before. Again, you never know unless you try. And I guess that's a segue into our next topic, which is overcoming failure. It's a huge thing that a lot of people deal with. I mean, I've dealt with failure plenty of times in my life.
So have I.
You know, I think everyone does at one point or another, you know,
and if you haven't, man, just be prepared.
You're blessed, bro.
Yeah, you've been blessed from the start.
Yeah, seriously. So dealing with failure, there's many areas in which we can fail, you know, and it goes beyond just trying to be successful or having a business or a podcast.
Thing,
you know, I can fail to, you know, probably take care of my room or something like that. I don't know. I can fail to keep my shoes clean, you know. Those Niger 2s are really busted, man. I've had them for a year now.
Do you want me to clean them?
No, it's cool. I mean,
got the stuff to clean them.
I like it like that. It adds a bit of flavor, you know. It's like, dang,
spice.
His skater shoes have been through something. Spice. Yeah, just a little bit of spice.
Oh, so it makes you look like you're skating when you're not.
I skate every now and then. Like to the post office to drop off packages. That's about it. Yeah, I got my license now though.
I know. He's like, I don't need that skateboard.
I don't need that skateboard. I just throw my shoes away too.
He's barefoot the whole time.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh my God.
No. I mean, there's a lot of places in which we can fail, and it's just overcoming failure is simply, again, everything is always perspective. Really, the battle of the mind is the biggest battle, but when you overcome that, oh man, the things you'll be able to do and understand, like that's the biggest thing. Is just, it's all your mental awareness, man.
Yeah.
Because, okay, you were saying?
I said this like I like the topics that we talk about because like in almost every single episode, everything ties together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like what we talk about.
And that's the goal, man. Good stuff, man. Proud of you. That's the goal, man. Is just to add value to people's lives. You know, beyond just entertaining them and making them laugh. Because I mean, I think we make people laugh. You know?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too,
I
man.
gotta put some work in here, man.
Yeah, seriously, man. My goodness.
I'm just kidding.
Oh. That wasn't
You're
planned.
gonna mess with this.
I know, dude. I was about to drop our whole mixer. Oh man. Overcoming failure.
Yeah, that would have been.
That would have been a huge failure.
Yeah.
That's $200 down the drain.
I mean, luckily.
Thank God it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, so for me, I brought up this story before, and I'll say it again briefly. Basically, in the first 4 months of having Smile Bright Apparel, I wasn't seeing the results that were projected. I was seeing results that came a lot less than what I was expecting. And I felt like I had failed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was like, dang it, man. Like, people don't like what I'm offering. It's not good enough, you know. And for whatever reason, I'm not able to sell things. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought I was failing, you know. But then I took some time. I sat back. I was like, all right, I need to change my approach then. See, because what separates you from being a failure and just a person who has failed is whether or not you give up.
Yeah.
If you give up because you failed, then you're nothing but a failure. Simple as that. Plain and simple. Nothing more.
That pretty much sums it up.
But if you fail
And persevere.
change your approach, and again, yeah, like you said, persevere, then you're not a failure. You're just a person who has experienced failure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now you're an overcomer. You know what I'm saying? So for me at that point, it was, all right, well, I need to change my approach. So then what I did was, if you notice, in the very beginning of Smile Bright Apparel, every month I would drop like 1 or 2 designs, and they would only be available for probably like 2 to 3 weeks. Then I would take them off the shop, and then I would put the next one up. You know what I'm saying? I changed my approach to, okay, now I'm going to have 10 designs. They're going to be called Smile Bright Basics. They're just 10 designs that are always on the shop. That way, whenever someone comes, if it's a new person or someone that didn't get to get something from the last collection, they can go to this, and then bam. So that was a different business approach, right? And that worked out pretty good. Every now and then I'll get a new Smile Bright Basic order. Turn it to they can't even see our hands. Anyways, I was doing this a lot on the desk, and so he was making fun of me. Anyways, so I changed my approach, and every now and then I'll get new orders from the Smile Bright Basics, and so now I have a consistent amount of orders.
Yeah.
And then every now and then I'll drop my limited collections, and then those will be my big sales. And so that moment of failure then turned into a learning opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I changed my approach, and then I saw the success and the better results. And so really what it is if you fail, pick yourself up, dust your shoulders off, and change your approach.
And changing your approach also ties into changing the way you think about it.
Exactly.
Change your thoughts.
Exactly.
So,
change your
again,
thoughts.
Like I said, everything we talk about
ties in together. Yes, it all makes sense. At least it should. If it doesn't make sense, then either we're not saying it right, or you just haven't experienced it yourself yet.
Yeah.
Simple as that, you know. But yeah, failure is all just adjustments, man. And it doesn't have to be huge changes. It could be minor tweaks. Minor tweaks. February was my first pop-up shop, and that was
the one I went to, or no? Did I go to the second one?
You went? No, that was the first one.
That's the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
February, I did my first pop-up shop, and that was a minor tweak to my business, because it was just, then I was taking everything from online and just doing it in person for a couple hours. But it had huge results. Minor tweaks, you know, and whatever you have to do to get to that position, you know, figure out what works. Trial and error. It's okay to fail. I think that's a huge misconception with people, is they think like, oh, failure is the worst. I've hit the bottom of the barrel.
And that ties into like even sports, because our coach even says like, for the ones that are just standing around because they're too afraid of getting things wrong, you're not gonna get any better. Like at all. You have to mess up in order to perfect it.
Because you're not gonna learn if you just stick to the textbook.
Exactly.
You know, and you don't go out of your comfort zone.
Because I'm gonna be honest, like when I first joined football, that was what I was doing. Like I was I was like, man, if I mess up, I'm just not gonna. Look at me like, oh, you can't do it. But
dude, that was me in basketball, bro.
I didn't realize that. Like I actually have to fix myself. Like if I mess up, you gotta fix yourself and keep moving, keep pushing. Yeah. And then then that led to me how I am now. Like now, if I mess up, then I'm just like, all right, on to the next.
Yeah.
Next play. Like it is what it is.
Exactly.
And you just make sure that you don't mess up on it again.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you do, learn how to not mess up on it again.
Yeah,
everything is trial and error. Just because you fail does not mean that it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You only take an L if you don't learn from your experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and so like you brought up football. I'll bring up basketball. My experience in basketball, a lot of the time when I would get the ball passed to me, I'm either passing it to someone or immediately taking a shot.
Yeah,
and that was because I knew I wasn't good at dribbling. So I would never ever try to like cross people over or do anything like that. I would simply dribble towards my teammate and either pass it off, or I would drive straight to the drive to the hole and try to make a layup, or I would, just shoot the three as soon as the ball gets passed to me. And that was simply because I was like, I cannot like cross people up. My handles are whack. I dribble with my head down. I'm not even going to try it, man. Then I started playing basketball with my dad and his friends. And that's when I really started trying to work on my handles. I got the ball picked from me a lot. Not even going to lie. It happens, I've caused us to lose a few games, because I got the ball stolen from me in the last few seconds of the game. It happens, man. It happens.
None of the greats have had like a perfect record.
Yeah.
Like they're going to, something's going to happen. Like one of the greats are going to get crossed up.
Exactly.
Like it's going to happen, but
it happens. You're not invincible. Yeah. And that's okay. You're not expected to.
But that's what makes them great, is they just push past it.
They push past it. Exactly. Overcoming adversity, man. It's all just perseverance. Don't try their hardest because they're afraid that they're going to put in all this effort and it's not going to yield the results that they expect. Do it anyways. Whether you get the sounded like McGregor.
Do it anyways.
Do it anyways. I pity the guy.
Pity the guy.
Oh man. No, but do it anyways. Why not? Give it your all, because you know what? You may end up getting results that are even better than what you were expecting to get. And even if you don't get the results that you want, let's say they're just a little bit less or even not even close, it's all right. At least you know that you tried your hardest.
Yeah.
You know?
You also gotta you also know how far you have to go to reach that.
Exactly.
Like, it gives you
a gauge.
Yeah.
You can measure now. Okay, this is how much I have to output for this.
Yeah.
Give your best and give your all, but also consider working smarter, not harder. You know what I'm saying? Don't do unnecessary things.
Big brain.
But you can't work smarter unless you fail and learn. You gotta learn first and have experience with these things to then know, okay, this is how I work smarter in this situation. Yeah. Yes, a lot of things will be common sense, but there are some things that will only come with experience.
For example, like when we first did our first episode, man, that episode, like the video was perfect, right?
Yeah.
But then when I tried to go edit, the file just did not work. It was just too big, and then I was like, bro, like how are we supposed to put out this episode without a video? And
exactly.
Then all right, so then we do it again. We record the second episode, and then the file corrupts. I'm like, okay, now what do I do? So then we took a. Did we figure out the week off? When we took that week off?
No, we figured it out that same week.
That was same week, okay. Yeah. So then, me and him realized that like, all right, one, that file was too big, so it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out like what to do. So then took that time to understand what was going on. And then now we shorten the videos that we record. We did it in certain increments of time, and now it works.
Yeah, because we can mesh everything together at the end.
But we realized that now that I realized we had to fail in order to achieve what we wanted.
Yeah.
Or achieve our goal.
Yeah. No, exactly. Achieve our goal. Absolutely. And that ties into it again. We put in our best effort. We're like, all right, we're gonna record everything. We got the tripod, we got the audio software, everything together.
We're set.
We got the editing software. We're good.
And don't get me wrong, I was like freaking out because I was like, dude, I gotta put out this episode.
Yeah,
what am I gonna do? But
exactly. And it didn't work out. Again, you put in your best and it doesn't work out. It's okay. Learn, adjust, and grow. And that's it.
And we could have been like, all right, we're not gonna
do video anymore.
Like after when they did it 2 times in a row, we're like, all right, we could have just. But nah, we knew that we wanted to get the video out.
Absolutely.
We wanted to get the visuals on top of that.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, because sometimes our voices get boring, Yeah. Maybe they just want to look at our face and be like, man, this
I know my voice is getting annoying when my voice cracks,
No, it's enjoyable. Yeah. I like that. That's the best part of the podcast.
Yeah.
When you're just like, eh.
Yeah. I'm just like talking about something deep.
Yeah, it's super deep and serious.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, guys, the meaning of life.
Oh, man. He had some good nuggets in his voice.
Yeah, we had some good nuggets in there, But I think we're good for today. Today's episode's kind of short. It's not a very long topic because honestly, don't overthink it. These kind of things, it's best not to overthink it.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Simple structure, simple game plan, everything. You know, you fail, oh well, get up and keep going.
Persevere.
You know, exactly.
Fight through that storm. You'll get out of it.
Absolutely.
There's always light at the end of the road.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bars. Nice. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.
Yes, sir.
We love you all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and share this to your social medias, and we will catch you guys next week. Peace.
Yeah. Did you see that video when it was like what do you call